Greetings, everybody. Today I'm going to be drawing a diagram of the layers of the atmosphere. This is similar to a diagram that I might have you draw in your notebook if we were in class. This is for the ES11 unit. It's easiest if you draw with a paper lengthwise like this, and if it's in the notebook, then this is kind of just the normal orientation of the page. This is going to represent the Earth's surface down here, and I'm going to add in just a little bit of color here, some blue for the ocean, some brown for a continent, we don't really know which one. Maybe some green on there too, just so you can kind of tell that it's the Earth. Above Earth, or the closest layer of the atmosphere to Earth's surface, that's the troposphere. And you see the word sphere, that means a ball shape, like the Earth. And so the only thing changing here is the prefix. Above the troposphere is the stratosphere. Above the stratosphere is the middle layer, the mesosphere. Above the mesosphere is the thermosphere. And above the thermosphere is the exosphere. So that is your basic labeled layers of the atmosphere there. But we're going to get a little more detailed and add in some other things specifically. So going this way, your altitude is increasing. Your altitude is just the distance from the surface of the Earth. And when you go this way, your air pressure is increasing. So the air molecules are closer spaced together down here. They're more spread apart up here. So altitude increasing that way, air pressure is increasing going that way. So in the troposphere, I'm going to add in a few mountains and a few clouds, maybe a person, not to scale, because the troposphere is where we are. The troposphere is where weather occurs, and it has the greatest air pressure. So I would have you write that stuff down. You could even put in a tornado if you want, make it rain. All weather's happening in the troposphere. Above the troposphere is the stratosphere. And this is where airplanes fly once they get up to altitude. But also, this is where the ozone layer is. The ozone layer is in the stratosphere. The ozone layer is made up of 3 oxygen molecules or oxygen atoms bonded together. Remember, that blocks out UV radiation. So aeroplanes and ozone. The mesosphere starts with M, and the mesosphere is the middle layer where messed that up. Meteors burn up. And if you like, you could draw some meteors flying into the mesosphere, and this is where they would disintegrate, especially if they're not making it all the way to the surface. The thermosphere is the layer where you have the greatest temperature increase. It goes from really cold to really warm in the thermosphere. The thermosphere also contains, it's kind of like bumps into the mesosphere a little bit, something called the ionosphere. The ionosphere is where you have your auroras, like the northern lights. The exosphere is your transition to outer space. And this is where you're going to find satellites. So I like to draw a few satellites in this layer. It's also where you would find the International Space Station, which looks something like this. These look more like TIE fighters, but the exosphere is the transition to outer space. I would also have you include in this drawing, let me make sure it's centered here, you can see the whole thing, a red line for temperature. So low temperatures over here, high temperatures over here. In the troposphere, temperature decreases. In the stratosphere, temperature increases. In the mesosphere, temperature decreases again. In the thermosphere, temperature rises rapidly and then kind of levels off when you get to the exosphere. So this is temperature. Goes down. The higher up you go in the troposphere, like when you climb up a mountain, you're higher up in the troposphere, and it's usually colder on top of a mountain than it is at the surface. In the stratosphere, it warms up. In the mesosphere, it cools down. In the thermosphere, it heats up a lot, and then it tapers off in the exosphere. So this is your diagram for the layers of the atmosphere that would go in your notebook. Your assignment is to draw it yourself. And you could pause the video here and take your time.